Noah invites the Hicks to sample his meat with as much Dyck sausage as anyone could eat. Reilly and Jonesy are in hell because they can't win at Chell, and the sausage party ends with a sweet and sticky treat.
That fresh produce stand there, that's a beauty.
What do you listen to?
My favorite murder podcast.
Taggart and Torrance podcast.
The produce stand.
Fucking sexy.
It's Thirsty Thursday, and that means we are once again hanging out at the produce stand. Podcast paying tribute to the great Canadian show, Letterkenny. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many other podcasts about Letterkenny out there, but this one is no sausage fest, thanks to Tanya. I'm Al, your host, and joining me in the room, as always, is lovely Tanya. And online, we have Squirrely Matt and the vacant Victor. Actually, Victor couldn't make it here tonight. We'll talk about that in a second as to why. But first, let's make sure we introduce our guest here. Joining us this week, he's the co-author of Invisible Heart, book 1 of John Baker's Chronicles, and The Hunted, Darkland, The Path of Redemption, a story of Bryce Creed. He's the DDP Yoga 2021 Positively Unstoppable Challenge Grand Champion. He's the co-host of the Plotaholics and Tandemonium Sports Show podcast. He's a patron, a member of our Twitter DM group, and a good guy. He's a really good guy. Please join me in making some noise for Bryan Tan.
Wondrous! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Wait. Oh my god! Oh my god!
I regret nothing.
I'm exhausted just reading that bio there. Welcome to the Produce Stand, Bryan.
Heyo, how's it hanging?
It's low, loose, full of juice, as they would say. So
is that what they say now?
Or better yet, how are you now?
Not bad, or no, good. And you?
Not so bad.
I can't believe you still can't get that.
Right. I guess I should have asked you to say Massachusetts next.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm all kind of reclumped today because unfortunately Victor's not here. He couldn't make it. So last week he mentioned that his dad had had fallen ill with Omicron. It looked like he was getting better. Today he's taken a turn for the worse. So Victor messaged us earlier this afternoon and said he was headed to the hospital. Nothing has happened yet that we know of, but he's in our prayers and thoughts tonight, and hopefully speedy recovery. Hopefully it's just a speed bump and everything goes up back on the road to recovery.
Putting that positivity out there, it's just a speed bump. He's going to be fine next week.
Exactly.
How are you now?
So tonight's lineup will be then myself, Tanya, Matt, and our guest Bryan will have the last word. So I'll start with my week. This week I launched another new podcast for at work. So there's
You're just a podcast slut.
I am a pod slut. And
you are about a hoe ass pod guy.
Yeah. So
I mean, you've been dubbed the Podfather. So
yeah, I love it.
I like the Podfather better than slut.
I'm going to get that tattooed on my arm. Like Bryan has something on his arm. We'll talk about it in a bit. So we did that, and so far so good with that. And now I'm just giving myself. I'm now working on 2 podcasts at work. And of course, this one here in my spare time. What spare time? There's no such thing. But I'm having a great time doing it. The other thing I did this week, let's see, watch Suicide Squad. Enjoyed it. Thought it was a fun movie. I did that because I didn't want to start Peacemaker until I watched Suicide Squad, and I'm glad I did. And let me say, Peacemaker, and I tweeted this out in my from my personal account. That's better than it has any right to be. It's a pretty funny and pretty just out there.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm a little bit behind.
Yeah, it's surprisingly good. And then the open, I gotta say, I'm not always a huge fan of opening.
I always skip intros. I can't.
I've watched it every time.
Exactly.
It's the greatest intro I've seen in a long time.
It's so good.
I can't wait. I'm starting to like John Cena a lot more.
Right? Like he's kind of like he's got. I mean, he looks and is built like Schwarzenegger, but with the charisma of The Rock, and just really good. Like I said this in my tweet. It's like young Schwarzenegger meets Deadpool. That kind of humor. And
where's he from again? Where's he from again now?
Who's that?
John Cena. Where's he from again?
I have no idea. Where's he from? Is he from
Massachusetts.
Is he?
There you go.
Oh, I didn't
There
know
you
that.
go.
I didn't know
Just a
that.
shot in the dark.
Yeah, I knew he was asking for a reason. So anyway, Peacemaker's a whole lot of fun. And I mean, a whole lot of wrong, but a whole lot of fun. Like definitely not for kids. Definitely not for kids.
So I should let my soon to be 13-year-old watch it. Gotcha.
There's at least
Questionable, even at that.
in episode 1, there is a kind of soft porn scene. Involving John Cena.
Oh, no.
So,
Maybe I should see it.
Yeah, you might enjoy that.
You would appreciate it for sure.
You would appreciate it.
Am I old enough?
Tanya's going to watch it and be like, yeah, this isn't rugged enough for me.
So anyway, that's been my week. It's been a lot of fun and I was looking forward to tonight. Let's see here. Tanya, how was your week?
The week has been chaotic at best. We had a major snowfall on Monday.
Oh yeah.
Sunday, Al and I were vigorously trying to work on the snowblower that had broke, and we high-fived each other as we got it to work. And then promptly, when the snow had come and it was time for it to do its thing, it
lasted a good 5 minutes.
It broke.
Premature celebration.
Yeah. What a piss off.
That didn't
Nailed
work.
it.
Like
Totally.
during like the heaviest snowfall we've probably had in a few years. Like that was some
Long time.
serious snow that we had there. Yeah.
Yeah, we got hit pretty hard down here too, and it wasn't fun.
No.
Yeah, so that was our Monday, and then it bled over to the Tuesday for the kids to be online, which they were supposed to be in school for the most of the children.
Yeah.
Our kids we're keeping them home for another little bit. So that again in itself is a whole lot of work, having them and ping ponging back and forth to grade 3 and grade 9, and trying to keep the kids on track during all of this. But you know what? I do want to have a moment of seriousness, which I know doesn't come.
We're like having a barrel of monkeys so far. What the hell?
There was a good point that my neighbor made, and that I have never thought of, because we got so much snow. He lives in the basement apartment, and he was going around the house, and he was shoveling out the windows. He had window wells, and he has some low windows to the ground level, and of course all the snow piling up and coming off the roof of the houses as well. It was blocking some of the windows. Recently there was a fire, and people were trapped in the basement in a nearby town, and he brought this to my attention and had asked, when we're clearing our driveway, that we make sure that nothing gets up to his side and the windows and stuff. So anyone out there, if you haven't thought of it, it didn't cross my mind. I know when we're in the basement, we kind of look out our windows and see the snow piling up, but you don't really think of that next level, that if that emergency ever comes and the snow can start freezing and you can't get out. So helpful hint to anyone, and to the didn't again think of this one, because we were getting so much snow, the exhausts from your furnace,
your dryer,
your lines leading outside, if they're low enough, they can get covered as well. So make sure that those lines are cleared and everyone stays safe.
There you go. There's a public service announcement
but
there.
Also have fun. Like we started building some, we're trying to get an igloo. And if you ever go down that path of how to build an igloo, it can be very rabbit hole and learning how to build these things.
I thought Tanya was going to say that she made an anatomically correct snowman.
You know what?
Those days are over. We have kids now.
I had a summer project though. We had a sand castle that I tried to make. I tried to make a snowman. I thought it was really funny to build Olaf.
She's on the beach.
Sand.
She's like, she's building something, and we're all watching her, and she's like, "What is she doing?" Because it's looking very phallic.
And I was very
like, "What's Tanya doing?" And then,
Olaf's head is oval, right? Like he's got like this long kind of pointy head, and then of course I can't get too much of his body because it's just a stubby base and this big oval head, and
on a public fucking beach with kids running around, and we're like,
everyone
Tanya,
commented,
take that thing down. It's like, what? It's Mommy, a snowman. It's not. Well,
look at it, Norman.
Yeah, A, it's not made out of snow, and B, it looks like a fucking giant dick.
Yeah, from their angle, I kind of see what they were, but I was getting teeth in the front and like trying to.
The more she was trying to make it look, the worse it got. Anyway.
Oh, and by the way,
is now scarred.
And this is half water. I'm trying to make my wine go a little bit further. It is. I filled it up with
water down wine.
Watered down wine. That's blasphemy.
I know. I totally have gone another way.
Yeah,
I
down a bottle of wine.
I had some chicken roti tonight, and so that
we're on Weight Watchers right now. So
that took up a major part of my point.
Wine's too many points.
Wine was like half a glass, and I filled it up the rest of the way with water. So I'm it's I know it's all kinds of wrong.
Like, I'm judging you more for doing that.
I know, right? But it's weigh in tomorrow.
I'm judging you more for that than making a sand dick on a beach.
I know. I know. I apologize, but you know what? I'm going to be happier when I'm fit.
There you go.
You could always work out with me and doing.
I was going to say you're just feeling the pressure because you knew you're going to be on with Brian today.
I've been doing these YouTube. I've been doing these YouTube runs, and oh my God, loving them. You can go on YouTube and these. Okay, this is all about me hour. You can go on these. You can do these YouTube trails.
You're bleeding into Victor's time. It's okay.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I was actually going to give that to Brian because he's a talker too. I don't know if you know this about him.
So there's YouTube trails, and you can either do it on a treadmill or go for a walk. And there's like all of these different scenes. You can go to Scotland and Ireland, and
you basically just walk in place while watching YouTube of somebody walking for you.
And they're pretty cool. Like when you
like
can't
a screensaver, basically.
Basically, yeah.
No, you're moving with them. You're moving with them. And some of them you can hear them huffing and puffing and snorting and spitting. But
coming soon to an Oculus near you.
Yeah. That's what you need. Just get Owen's Oculus and do that.
It's like Peloton version 1.
Yeah. Imagination. All right. Matt, save us here. How was your week? Hopefully better than last week.
Definitely better than last week.
Okay.
I mean, we're all out of the woods now on our COVID experience. We were out of lockdown Monday, I think it was, and our quarantine. We're all feeling better.
Good.
You know, it's not 100%, but we're showing negative now, and everything's good. So we're moving again. Yeah, we got hit by snow.
Oh man,
it's no joke. Like and again, living in the city, I think I've talked about before. Like in my neighborhood, we're quite congested. And it's all like it's mountainous almost where I know it's a overstatement.
Well, especially in the house. Do you share your driveway with your neighbor? No,
I do. Yes.
So you got to put your snow all onto one area. Like we can throw it to both sides, and we have massive hills on both sides of my driveway. I can't imagine if you can only do it to one side, like
to the point where our daughter can touch the tree.
Yeah.
And I wish I could get an aerial shot to really show this, but I think I've described this before. Ours is like a funnel. So from where a house starts to where our garage starts, which is probably, I don't know, 50, 60 feet. It's a funnel. There's both of our houses run alongside of the driveway. So that it's all driveway. There's no grass.
Yeah.
So you have to push all the snow from the top down before you can spill it even onto the grass.
Yeah.
So it's about 50, 60 feet of 3-lane driveway down and then over. So it took my neighbor and I each with snow blowers over 3 hours just to clear our driveway.
Oh, man.
So that was a mess. And then because we're in this congested neighborhood, our little section's not too bad, but the rest of the neighborhood, most people don't even have that. They have no driveway. It all goes onto the road. Yeah. So our neighborhood's
and then the plow just puts it back on.
Your driveway.
So our neighborhood's pretty tight as is. It's 2 lanes at best with street parking. Yeah. Now you're down to 1 lane at best with street parking and snow piles everywhere. So trying to get through our neighborhood, like I had to take my kid to daycare today, just leaving, just to get out of my neighborhood was the most stressful part of my day because you're constantly pulling into driveways, let someone pass, back out, in and out. Like it's a nightmare. And all of our streets in Toronto are like that. Like just nowhere to put the fucking snow.
I don't know where the hell you would put that much snow.
No,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it happened Monday, it's now Thursday. It still looks like Monday out there.
Yeah.
Aside from like the main channel is clear, but all the banks are still there. Like, so now we have to learn to live with this for the next probably month or two while they really like, they'll get the main streets cleaned up in probably another week.
Yeah.
Which is real. Like that's actually reality.
Yeah.
It'll take them at least a week to start getting that looking normal, but our neighborhood will stay like this probably until spring, where we are just trying to figure out a way around each other as we come in and out of our neighborhood.
Matt,
So it's fucked.
time to look for snowmobile on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, bud. Oh, yeah,
trying to
That's
dodge
it.
the freaking polar bears while they're
Right.
taking over.
It was crazy. Like it was
But I mean-
truly, we were setting our alarm because we had to go out every hour to clear it before it accumulated.
That's how massive though the snowfall was.
Yeah,
like we've had. I mean, we get snow all the time here, but this one here was.
It was big.
Yeah, it was big. It was pretty big.
Yeah. And I mean, I did the neighborly thing. Like one of my neighbors, I didn't realize he didn't have a snowplow. Him and his wife were out there going till late in the night. And they finally put a ping on our little group chat we have. And he's like, anyone have a snowblower? I'm like, dude, you should have messaged hours ago. I'd have been there.
Yeah.
And we went down. I let him borrow it. In like 10 minutes, he had his little section cleared. He's like, you saved my life, bro. And then yesterday, these people I didn't realize a couple doors down from me is an older elderly couple, like 80 years old, hadn't even started their driveway. And they're out there with a shovel going. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like it was midday yesterday. So I went out and my neighbor right attached to me went out as well with our blowers and we cleared them out. We're like, and then they tried to pay us. I'm like, no, just say thank you. Like, it's okay. Like I don't want you to like kill yourself out here. This is crazy.
Well, when our snowblower went, I was equally pissed off because of our own driveway, because it's a big driveway, but also I like going around and doing the neighbors' driveways.
Yeah.
It's a chance to be neighborly, and it's a chance to go and chat with them and get to know them and stuff. Right. And I couldn't do that. In fact, I had to borrow our neighbor's snowblower to finish the job.
Well, if you want to think of it this way, you've probably done the right thing in the past. And now karma came back to help you because
there you go.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
But aside from that, my week was pretty uneventful. I mean, I because of COVID, and then I'll quickly touch on it. Because of COVID, I haven't seen my other two kids in 2 weeks, which is probably the longest stretch I have not seen them as long as I can remember, probably since they were born. So I definitely miss the hell out of those guys, but we're finally seeing them tomorrow.
Oh, good.
They're coming for the weekend, and things will go back to normal. I'll get the normal. I see them every week normally, right? So it's been tough. We've been doing a lot of FaceTime. That's how we've been staying connected, but it's not the same, right? You need to have them nearby, and it makes you appreciate them even that much more.
Our toboggan hill now with all this snow, that would be awesome.
Oh my God. I've had too many close encounters with the trees.
All right, let's talk to our guest. What?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to talk about oh yeah, no, go ahead.
So let's talk to our guest. Mr. Tan, how are you now?
Oh, not bad. You
pretty good. So welcome. Well, hold on. We got to go through all the standard questions here. First of all, where are you speaking to us from?
I'm talking to you guys from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh
City.
We love Pittsburgh. We've been to Pittsburgh. Yes. We had a lot of fun there. It's a nice city. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, and that's not
that's understandable.
I understand. I wasn't expecting too much, but when we went, it was like, this is a really nice city. All the bridges and all the tunnels and the two stadiums are beautiful. And we saw a hockey game at the Igloo. So before
so this is before PBG Paints Arena got put in.
And then we went out to.
Next time you guys are down here, man, let me know.
Yeah, we had a great time. A lot of good shopping there too.
I can take you to the eateries and some of the other places that are off of the quote unquote tourist trail.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
We went
did
to.
You guys get to go to Permanis?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember anything.
No.
Like
If you would have went to
Specifically.
Permane Brothers, you would know.
Let's be clear.
Permanis.
They're aware that they went to Pittsburgh.
yeah, no, we went
They
to
don't
Pittsburgh.
remember
We
much.
saw a hockey game. We went to Falling Water, which is about an hour
Yeah.
outside of
Yep.
Pittsburgh. That was awesome. And
Ugh,
and then
I'm
we
a
did,
huge architect.
we did a little
buff.
shopping in, was it Grove City? Is that
Grove City Outlet. Yep.
Yeah.
outlet? And
I've
you
been
know,
there.
we did all the important stuff.
Nice.
No
That
tax,
sounds
no
awesome.
sales tax.
Yeah, it was
Woo-hoo.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you around there. Yeah.
Yeah. So Letterkenny, when did you discover Letterkenny?
I discovered Letterkenny about a year or so ago. About a year or so ago. I was still living in my apartment. I was on TikTok, which I haven't been on TikTok in a long time. And I happened to see the episode. It was the clip of Reilly Jonesy and Shorzy chirping in Bush Party season.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I laughed my ass off so hard at that. And when he was like, your mom came across the room and she killed my Japanese fighting fish, I was like, oh my God, that is the great.
Threw off the pH balance in the tank. Yeah.
I died laughing. I watched that clip about 10 times and I kept laughing. And I was like, well, what the? So I'm looking around and I'm like, I shared it to my Facebook and I'm like, what the hell is this? Where can I find this? And one of my buddies goes, bro, it's a show called Letterkenny. It's pretty funny. So then I happened to go to Hulu and I was hooked.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I
Just
was
like that.
hooked.
And do you
Just
know that
like-
there's a Letterkenny in Pennsylvania? Not too far from you, I don't think.
I know that now from listening to the show.
Yeah.
And then I happened to, and I discovered you guys. I happened to be, tweeting out to, the Letterkenny and blah, blah, blah. And Al, you caught me and was like, oh, you should listen to the Letterkenny, the Produce Stand podcast.
Oh, really?
Like,
Did I do that?
yeah.
That's when
And
he
I
was
like-
he was poaching listeners at that time.
Oh man, I was doing a lot of
and
posting then.
I
yeah.
listened, and again, I listened to the first episode and I was hooked.
Really? That first episode? Maybe not.
No, for real. Because
Really?
I was hooked because the thing was, I've been working from home since COVID started. And I just moved into, we just bought this house in July. So working from home in a new house, and it was just really, really weird to me. And it's like, I'm trying to come up with new routines and new things to do during the day.
Sure.
And I believe I had just taken my son back home because he lives in New Hampshire with his mother. So I needed something to keep me laughing during the day because I'm always messed up after he goes back.
Right.
So you guys kept me laughing my ass off.
That's awesome.
Where usually I'm like miserable as hell because my kid is gone. I don't have my crotch fruit.
Right.
So I just laughed my ass off the whole time. Yeah, I was hooked after that first episode.
Happy we could help, man.
Yeah. We love hearing that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, the unintended consequences of doing this podcast. We did this for ourselves. We didn't do this for anybody else. So the fact that other
I
people are
remember
getting
you guys saying that.
getting joy out of it is mind boggling. All right. So quickly, I mean, because we've got a whole episode here, but
There's so much to do,
You've got so much. I mean, you're almost Dennis Guggen-esque when it comes to like all the shit that you do and have done. You're a published
I don't
author.
feel like I do enough.
You're a published author. You've got what, 2 books, right? Or is there more than 2?
I've got 2. Well, I had 5 books at one time that were published at once, but I've gone through publisher switches because my very first publisher just wasn't handling me properly. They were handling other authors so much better. They weren't doing anything for me.
Right.
So my writing partner, Kendra Souter, who I spun off of her Permutation Archive series to write my book, The John Baker Chronicles, the Permutation Archive Division.
Okay.
So that's why I'm co-authored on that. I wrote the book, but it's a spinoff of her series. So that's the deal we have.
Right. Okay.
And then her publishing company had to close its doors. So I ended up going to another publisher, now Random Evolve Media. And so my book, the John Baker Chronicles, book 1, and actually I have 3 books out now. The first John Baker book, which is out now, Invincible Heart. Unbreakable Mind, book 2 of that series is out now as well. And then my very first novel that I ever wrote, The Enforcer. And oh my God, I'm working on the audiobook for it right now. And you can tell it's my very first book because it is rough, but I still love it. And it's out now. The sequel to that book, The Hunted, is going to be coming out within the next couple of weeks or the next sometime first quarter 2022.
Okay. So you're pretty prolific and you're telling me that you feel like you're not doing enough. I mean, come on. You're making us all look bad.
In a lot of ways I do, because I guess I was always that kid that was good at stuff, but wasn't great at stuff. So I always tried to just do the things that I thought I was good at, hoping that I would get better.
Bryan, you know what that's called? You're a Renaissance man. It's okay.
Yeah, I like that.
That's
all right. I'm a tall black Danny DeVito. I'll take it.
There you go. All right. Let's talk about quickly. Again, we're trying to get to what you guys call the advertised content.
Yeah.
How much weight did you lose to become the 2021 DDP Yoga champion? Sorry.
I started my DDP yoga journey at 390 pounds, August of 2019. I was a sandwich away from 400 pounds, waiting to die.
Fuck.
And then I started doing DDP yoga when my son came down when he was about 10 at the time. And he tagged me and was like, come and get me, Dad. I did the Homer Simpson 2 runs and was out of breath with my knees buckling. So I knew I needed to do something.
Yeah.
Problem was I was still eating like crap, trying to out-train a bad diet, but I was getting stronger. I was getting more flexible until January 2020. I separated my shoulder trying to bench press 330 pounds. Thankfully, my wife is a massage therapist. She was able to massage the joint back into place.
Oh, wow.
And then I just stopped working out because I was healing.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID started and I was depressed from COVID. And then George Floyd was murdered and I was depressed by that. And then my son asked me why George Floyd was murdered and I was depressed about that.
Yeah.
And then my mom got COVID and I was depressed about that. And then Diamond Dallas Page gave me a call June of 2020 and I never looked back. So I lost in that first 6 months from June 2020 to January 2021, I lost 100 pounds.
Jesus.
Just from changing my eating habits and doing DDP yoga.
When everyone else was gaining their COVID-19,
I was losing.
You lost 100 pounds.
Correct. And That wasn't enough for me. Because then I was down to about 290. I wanted to get lower. I wanted to be healthier.
Yeah.
So I entered the Positively Unstoppable Challenge January 2021. Had to get a procedure done on my foot. So I was out for a month, but I started working out in the chair and I started getting stronger. Then I just kept working it. By the time I was done with the DDP Yoga Positively Unstoppable Challenge, because it's 6 months, you're able to enter from January 1st to April 30th. And then the challenge ends completely October 30th. Mm-hmm. So no matter what, when you start, you get that 6 month time frame. I lost an additional 70 pounds. So I went from 290 to 220. That's Matter of fact, I think my final weigh-in, I ended up coming in at 218 pounds.
Wow.
And then I'm sitting and waiting for 4 months. All right, so am I going to be a finalist or not? We'll quit worrying about it because, well, you've already won. And that's what I told myself. And that's what I just kept telling myself, because you're healthy now, you're losing weight, you're looking damn good. You look younger than you are, and it's amazing. And then I found out that I'm a finalist. And I'm like, holy crap.
That's amazing.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, we need to have one final call because we need to, do this, that, and the other. So they call me on there and Diamond Dallas is right there. He's like, what's up, bro? And I'm like, hey, what's up? We haven't spoken in almost a year, because when I entered the challenge, he stopped talking to me. He had been coaching me from June to December. But then he said, when you enter this challenge, I'm done coaching you. You need to do this on your own. You're on your own. So it's the first time he and I talked in a year, and he's like, this was really hard to do, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? You're the guy. You won. And I'm like, wow.
That's
awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's great, man. Good for you. And I mean, I've seen the before and after shots, and it's inspiring. It's inspiring. And
yeah.
In just what, under 2 years, you did that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And now I'm trying to build my own business teaching DDP yoga. I want to bring it into the inner city because, minorities, people of color, we've been lied to about health and nutrition for generations upon generations. We've always been given, the least. And, one of the things that stopped me from even trying to do DDP yoga sooner was because, only rich folks can do yoga.
Yeah.
And, and it's like, nah. It's for everybody. So, I want to bring it into the, inner city, start helping people that are, underprivileged and whatnot to be able to get healthier and to feel that confidence that I feel, because the one of the best things that you can give another human being is believing in them, because when you believe in them, they believe in themselves.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. Okay. Let's move on now to just one last thing. You've got 2 podcasts, Plotaholics, which I've had the pleasure and honor and privilege of being on. That was a lot of fun, defending the honor of Canadian bacon. I highly recommend that. But
still sad you had to defend it.
I know, right? But
you know what? What's funny is that honestly, I rewatched it about a week or so ago, and I think what it is that it's not the John Candy that I'm not used to seeing John Candy in that position. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's cool. It's cool because I love Rhea Perlman.
And I wouldn't say this just to anyone, but I'm a listener to your podcast. I listen to all your episodes, or not all the episodes, but all the episodes of movies where I've watched, and I enjoy it. You and your co-host, Shane, have a great rapport and you're very entertaining. So, and I highly recommend if you want, more guests, Matt would be a great guest because he knows way more about movies than I do. So,
that's good to know, man.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we definitely need to do something like that. We're always looking to expand. Shane and I, we've been doing the Plotaholics now. We're coming up on 4 years now. And
that's awesome.
We're also starting to build on our YouTube presence. Shane has a Plotaholics presents Shane Wilson's drunk reviews, where Shane Wilson, will watch.
Does he legit get drunk? Because I've seen some of those. I'm like, wow, that looks almost put on, but that's him.
No, he's drunk.
Wow.
He's drunk.
That's dedication.
It's so hilarious.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so hilarious.
I love it.
And then I do a spinoff of it called Tan Talks, where I'll talk movies. Right now we're talking Book of Boba Fett. So we're doing, review and discussion and breakdowns of the episodes of Book of Boba Fett. So Matt, if you want to, I'm gonna be looking for, because basically what I'm gonna start doing for Tan Talks is I'm gonna have guests to talk about, a series or whatever. So, we'll pick a series and, go from there. So yeah, Matt, if you're interested.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a pod slut too, and all that. So, let's connect offline and
let's do that.
We'll find what fits. And I'm already in. So.
And then you have a sports one called Tandemonium Sports Show.
The Tandemonium Sports Show with Vendetta Sports Media. Shout out to, the boss man Trey Daubert and the folks over at Vendetta Sports Media, where we talk every Tuesday evening, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch, twitch.tv/Vendetta Sports Media. And we talk about the sports stories and everything that's going on during the week. We just talked about how I trashed my Steelers and the sorry effort they gave against Kansas City, and we're moving on in the NFL playoffs. Just to give you a little behind the curtain, Willie O'Ree, the first brother to ever play in the NHL, just had his jersey retired by the Boston Bruins. So I'm going to give some love to him for that, because that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal right there. That man was breaking down barriers in hockey, which, I'm not going to say hockey's the whitest sport there is.
You don't get much whiter than hockey,
but it gets a little bit pale.
Yeah,
it's not water polo pale, but
it's getting better, and they're doing a lot of good work. They're doing a lot of good work with their diversity. Bryan, just listening to all the projects you're doing, making me tired. I think I need a coffee.
Just like Skodude energy drink, Diabolical Coffee has a new spokesperson. Me. Diabolical coffee is devilishly good coffee and diabolically awesome swag. There is a roast for all tastes and even some you didn't know you wanted. You can order whole bean, coarse, and standard grind, and espresso. Or if you're like Al and me, there's a K-Cup option for single cup brewers. And for the duration of season 10 of our podcast, you can use the promo code PRODUCESTAND for 10% off anything in the store. That's 10% off all coffee and merch. Thank you to Diabolical Coffee and to Eric for your support.
Yes, thank you, Eric, for your support.
I'm pretty sure I just placed 3 orders during that.
I don't just want coffee. I want a date night and coffee. I'm just saying.
Speaking of support, welcome to new Twitter followers: Captain Quack Sparrow, CJ from Parts Unknown, Damien from Auburn Hills, Michigan, Dan Wano from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Nathan Steele, Chris from Barrie, Ontario, Leah from Utah, JJ from Wisconsin, Joji, Jason Jolly from St. Louis, Jim Morgan, Benjamin Mark Kelly from Rockhampton, Queensland. Formerly Source, Mad Hewlin or Madeline, Jesus. Linda 929, LS 1108, preferably my recliner. Insert a snarky name here from the universe. Ashley Gibson.
That's good.
Matt from Pittsburgh. Maybe you know this Matt person here, Brian. Mike Clamp from. Oh, I can't. Whatever that is. That looks like Jip Cuck McMackey. It looks like an indigenous place. Michael Wheeler, 82 from Austin, Texas. Prince Robot from Largo, Florida. Steve V from Canada. Jim Frawley from Bellwether Hub, New York. Matt Crowley. Austin Hudson. Here's Donnie. Adrian Hubbard. Cowboy Kev from Tionesta. HVAC Girl, Chef Bacon, Justin Grift, Mark, Darren Wolf from Pizza Planet, Wyndham Earl from Chicago, Victoria Kirk, Adam Shaker from Mississippi State University, Judge Roy Bean from the United States, Eric Fairs from Farmington, Missouri, Sean from Texas, On the Fly Us from Cape Cod, Ban from Scotland, newest member of our DM group, 420 Muffin Man from Ohio, JG from Knoxville, Tennessee, Mike Herman from Edmonton, Bobby McConnell, Scott, Tyler Wilkerson, Ken Wideness, and Adventures of a Mixed Girl. Thank you all for following and hopefully for listening. Yikes.
Previously on Letterkenny.
I got to scroll down past all these names here. There we go. Last week.
I thought you were going to say Bobby McFerrin.
Oh, man.
To get excited.
635 names now?
Well, yeah. So I just read 50 there. So yeah, I'm losing control here. Last week we recapped and reviewed episode 2 of season 10, Dealership. That episode was a unicorn, receiving a fresh rating from all of us, including our guest Ray. According to Twitter, which we got 55 votes, 65.5% of you gave it a fresh, 29.1 gave it a clearance, and 5.5 gave it a compost. This week we recap and review episode 3 of season 10, Dyck Meat. I've done my homework. Tanya, have you done your homework?
Once.
Matt, have you done your homework?
Also once.
And Brian, have you done your homework?
3 times, my dude.
All right.
Thrice. Get to the chorus.
We open at the tractor shed. Squirrely Dan and Derry are having a heated argument about something. Wayne is just standing there quietly. The other two finally stop arguing, and Squirrely Dan asks Wayne why he doesn't feel compelled to get between them and what's not. Wayne says that people are allowed to disagree and what have you. Derry says that usually when they have a spat, Wayne intervenes and all that. Wayne asks where's that got him and such. And then Squirrely Dan asks if Wayne could at least ask them what the problem is. Wayne takes a long pause, walks around the loft once, and then leans on the handrail and asks what the problem is.
Katie's Big Tarts.
What's that?
Oh, I just love Katie's Big Tarts.
He was trying to provoke me here. Or?
They're perfect. Katie's got perfect tarts.
I feel like he's know full well what you're doing.
I just love those tarts.
So what, gather?
Mercy, those big, soft tarts of hers.
So we crushed a ton of them.
Did you eat a whole tub?
Well, okay, there was 2 tubs, and so we only crushed one of the tubs, so there's still a tub left.
There's fucking 19 to a tub.
Neither of us is proud about eating the whole tub.
Well, I didn't see an empty tub on the counter.
Well, that's because we washed and dried and put away the tub so that you wouldn't have seen that we eat the tub.
Sneaky as the dick.
So we get to the bottom of the tub, and there's one left, so we decide to split it. So Dan's going to take a bite and then hand me the other half.
Well, it's good of you to give him the dividing bite.
Well, that's what I thought it was, too.
I expressed my appreciations on receiving the dividing bites.
And then he ate the whole thing.
You did not.
It was on accident.
You did not do that to Derry.
It was on accident.
Yes, he did do that to Derry.
It was on accident, Derry.
How do you accidentally eat a full tart and you previously agreed to go halves on the tart?
I'm going to say.
Well, you could get saying.
Go on set.
I'm going to say.
Well, you could get saying.
Go on set.
I'm going to say, Derry's.
Squid says he'd have one of Katie's tarts down his gull at all hours of the days if he could. He goes on to take dividing bites of the tart, and the other half just crumbled right there in his hands. Wayne admits that will happen. Squid continues, so he'd either just let the crumbled half right there fall on the floor, or he'd hoover up the other half.
You know I eat stuff off the floor. You know that I eat stuff off the floor.
Derry's always eating things off the floor.
He's right. I'm always eating things up off the floor.
Surprised he isn't eating something off the floor right now.
It's not my fault the tarts crumble. Tarts crumbles all the time.
Almost every day.
I mean, I'm just as surprised as everyone, because you know Katie's tarts are usually so very firm.
Well, you could have put the tub underneath it to catch the tart.
We'd already washed and dried and put away the tub, Derry.
Sneaky as the Dickens.
That doesn't change that I still eat things off the floor. I always eat things off the floor, and I'm never backing down for that. Never.
Hey, gents. Where's this end?
Katie walks up to the tractor shed, eating a tart. She asks if anyone wants the other half of her tart. Squiddan says he believes his good buddies Derry's would. Katie gives her remaining tart half to Derry and walks away, asking herself why her tarts are so big, and this gets a grumble from Wayne. Cut to the 3 Hicks in unison. Squiddan and Derry reply, makes them perfect for sharing with a pal. Wayne yells at them to come off it and cue the theme. All right. It's down to me first. This one's one for the pantheon of cold opens. I really enjoyed this one. It's really well acted and just a lot of fun. Squirrely Dan and Derry were so good in this. I wonder, because I mean, it's been a while since we kind of talked about, Letterkenny making a statement about something, before, like it would be like about racism or sexism or homophobia or social media. It's been a while since it feels like they've made a statement. And I mean, in their way, I feel like this was Kiso making a statement about what's going on right now with the pandemic, about anti-vaxxers and vaxxers arguing, and there's like, where does it end? Where does the arguing end? Like there's doesn't seem to be any middle ground between these two sides. Just the way he kind of like when they were asking,
was that in the same time frame though as the pandemic and
yeah, I mean,
the
he wrote
needles
it.
and
He wrote this like during the pandemic. So I feel like
during the anti-vaxxing segment, because that was only recent.
No,
that was
the anti-vax has been happening.
Well, down
last
here,
year-ish.
it's been recent. This has been.
I could be reading really a lot into it.
Yeah.
I just
I see where you're going.
They were asking him, "Aren't you going to intervene?" He's like, "Well, where's that gotten me in the past?" And then they keep on arguing, and then he's like, "Honestly, where does it end?" Like just a few kind of different comments that he made. I'm like, you got these two kind of sides arguing at each other's throats, and it doesn't look like there's any way that they can come together or agree on anything. And then an opportunity comes for one of them to be human to the other person, and that's what ends it, right? I could be like completely reading into it.
I can see that.
But I really
can see that. I can see
that's very deep.
I know. And maybe it's deeper than we should be giving Letterkenny credit. But I think in the past, Letterkenny has gotten that deep. So I like to think that that's kind of, this is his way of saying, hey, you guys, both sides think they're right. there's got to be a way to end this. There's got to be a way.
It's about tarts, right?
It's about the argument. It's about the argument, right?
Argument in general.
Like, fart book isn't about farts, right? And he seems to always use his analogies rhyming with arts. Anyway, that's my take on this. It's a great cold open. I love the back and forth. On the surface, it's just a lot of fun, really funny. I love the repetition of Squirrely Dan. It was on accident. Just really, really funny. And Derry saying, I eat stuff off the floor. Just brilliant. I really enjoyed this cold open. Tam?
I did not see it for the depth that you did, but I did enjoy it. I was looking again at the barn camera angle and how, Wayne's at the pinnacle at the top of it, and the symmetry between Squirrely Dan and Derry, and how that's been touched on before.
Yeah, Buttrey talks about symmetry in his shots and all that stuff. None of that's by accident. That's all very, very purposeful for sure.
But I still
accidents.
accident. The repetition and Squirrely Dan saying things, 3 times. I think the sequence was 3 times for every. Yep. It was on accident, and I'm just gonna say, and just the fun banter back and forth, and Katie's big tarts, and then her coming out. And I like too that it was given to Derry, because there's always that playful kind of, well, will they or won't they? Or is there like a thing there or not? I still firmly believe
that was
that's
less
like
Katie
more like
giving him a tart, and it was Squirrely Dan offering it to his buddy because he felt bad because he cheated his buddy.
It looked as though that Derry just kind of gave that kind of smile, like, oh, she's sweet on me type of, I get her the rest of her tart.
Katie's tarts, yeah.
But I'm still thinking that there's a sister brother, like they grew up, like that's just a forbidden, like, no. That I don't think that should happen. Anyway, but it was a good cold open.
Mm-hmm. Matt?
Yeah, to me, it's a top 5 cold open. It was so much fucking fun. You might be onto something there. I don't think I even give it that much thought when I watch the show, unless it's right out there in the open. I'm just in it for the playfulness of it. I see what you're saying to a degree. It might be a bit of a stretch, but it's an interesting theory. I'd love to have a chat with one of the writers to get to the bottom of some of this. But no, it was great. There was a couple of things that resonated with me. I don't know why I got really drawn in when he's like 19 to a tub. I'm like, I've never thought. I know for some reason in my head, when things go in a tub, it's always, especially something like a dozen it's even numbers.
Like 19
felt like a very odd number, and I got fixated.
Oh, but they're larger tarts. Maybe the tub usually would hold like 24 normal sized tarts.
But it's still not an even number. I don't know.
Yeah, that's like totally an odd ass number. 19.
Unless it's a round tub.
But then there's the COVID-19 kind of angle. Right.
Wow.
Dun, dun, dun.
Whoa, it's getting deep.
Right. It could be the 19
all right.
would
now
then.
I'm on Team Al here.
Yeah. Right.
By her man. Yeah.
And I think the Latin word for tart is no, I don't know.
Oh, come
on. And he just took it.
But all right, Tan, I'll give you that one. That's a good little correlation to his theory. But I'll take it. The other weird thing there is, it was hilarious. This I've talked about this. I think I brought up in the Buttrey interview. This is my favorite shot in the show. I love this one. So seeing it always makes me smile. The banter was great. Derry and Dan were on fire. Yeah. Wayne up there just like doing his thing was just too much. And then the sneaky as the Dickens thing.
Dickens.
This one really hit home for me because not that I for the most part I eat okay. But I've got some guilty pleasures, and I may have mentioned before, craft dinner or Katie is one of those.
Oh my God. And now you made me want it.
I get yelled at for eating it more than I probably should at times. So I've historically, if I'm eating it midday, I will go ahead and I will wash all of the dishes afterwards to not give any evidence to the fact that I just crushed a fucking box of craft dinner.
Just eat it out of the sauce pot then, man. Don't even dirty dishes. The sauce pot, stir stick.
No. Oh, that's true. But anyways, I got to watch all that. So it's a bad thing of mine, but I've definitely done it in the past because I'm like, not that I really care. I'm like, I just don't want to have the conversation where I get razzed and teased for the fact that I just crushed a box of Kraft dinner. So I watched it. So I understood that one because they were trying to get away and they didn't.
Very good. Bryan?
But great opening.
Yeah.
I have to admit that when I first watched this episode, I didn't like it. Okay. But this was the only part of the episode that I really loved. I laughed so hard. You did not do that to Derry. He did do that to Derry. And it's like, yeah, how dare you? Now, here's the thing. And I realized this, and I said this to my wife, Sharon, because we're doing a Supernatural binge. I'm like, my God, everyone in Letterkenny has been in Supernatural. First, I just saw Derry get stabbed in the throat. And now Squirrely Dan is freaking eating his tarts. Poor guy's been through enough. And he turned into a zombie in Resident Evil. Poor guy. You did not do that to Derry. But it's the one thing about Letterkenny that I really love is just the bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
They never miss a beat, but it's never sounds choreographed. It's so natural. I can see regular people having this type of conversation. Yeah. This is, I agree 100%. This is probably one of the best cold opens this show has ever done.
Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah, it's a really good one. All right, we move on to scene 1 out of the theme. Noah Dyck pulls his horse-drawn carriage onto the farmhouse laneway. The Hicks are hanging out at the produce stand. Derry says if Noah needs a hand, he'll be happy to lend one as long as the daughters aren't there. Noah gets out of his carriage and anchors his horse and pets him, saying he's a bit spooked on this glorious day. It's best he strokes the big Dyck till it calms once. Then Noah greets the Hicks and gets to his business.
Wayne, your community has always used us right. Hopefully you feel as though we've used you right. Once.
Hey, you've said it at least twice.
Twice once?
At least twice.
At least twice once.
Twice or more.
Not once or twice once?
At least twice.
Twice or more once.
Can confirm.
Wayne, you've been a great friend unto me for many years now.
Okay.
For banging the boxes summer last. I feel the great need deep within me to repay you for the kindnesses shown the very best way I know how.
Oh, here we go.
Well, how's that?
With a sausage party.
Wait, first a box hammer and now
a witch?
A sausage party.
Well, he must mean literally.
Noah says he spent the majority of his adult life stuffing his meat into casings. It's thrilling, rewarding, and exhausting work, yet he won't rest until his sausage has touched the back of the Hicks' throats. Squirrely Dan loves a sausage, as does Wayne. He loves him so much. Derry would feel a bit better if they could bring a date. Noah's afraid there is only one rule to a sausage party. No women allowed. Wayne says, okay, so he meant it literally as well as figuratively. Derry asks Noah if his daughters are going to be around. Noah says no, they're going to be having a party with his wife in their very own kitchen. Besides, a sausage party is a good chance for men to blow off a little steam. Derry tries to tell Noah they can't make it, but Noah calls him silly gosling. He hasn't even said when it is, which is it's today. Wayne responds that they'll be there. Derry asks what happens at a sausage party. Squirrely Dan says it sounds like it's a party where guys eat a lot of sausage, but also it's a dude's only party. Noah won't take Noah for an answer. He sets off to make preparations, but he leaves the Hicks with one final word.
It's as much for your benefit as mine, for ye haven't truly lived until you've had Dyck Meat in your mouth.
Next scene, the Skids are dancing in front of a convenience store. Reilly and Jonesy walk up. They ask what the Skids are doing there. They say it's where they get dirty. Stewart asks Reilly and Jonesy what they're doing there. He jokes that the supplement place is that way. Flex pointing to an arbitrary location. Not getting the joke, Reilly and Jonesy say they didn't know Letterkenny had a supplement store. They ask where it's located. Stewart makes up directions, instructing them to go to the bridge by the Kinsman Pool, Kinsman Pool Bridge and jump off of it.
I never noticed a supplement store there, buddy.
Let's look on the way back.
Yeah, I'm at a body-dynamic stimulant-free core slimming complex.
Nice. I'm out of my Nexobionic Extra Strength Advanced Multi-Probiotic.
I bet you they have it.
I hope so.
Stewart asks Reilly and Jonesy where they're headed. Reilly and Jonesy are going to go play some chell, which is NHL, by the way. And for
I had to look that up today because I was like, what the hell is chell?
So it's NHL 2000, whatever it is now, 2021.
Probably NHL 22 at this point.
Yeah, that's right. Stewart informs them that his crib is around the corner. If they want to rip some chell, they can roll up. Reilly and Jonesy agree, but first...
But yo, let's actually stop by that suppy store on the way home. Sodium bicarbonate, beta-alanine, creatine with BCAAs.
Sick. I'm out of my amino acids, optimum recovery, 3-in-1 macro tracking, exogenic ketones.
Bet you they have it.
I hope so.
Don't forget your Flintstone vitamins.
Wilma's my favorite flavor.
Noted. I love that.
Noted.
The Hicks arrive at the Dyck farm. Oh, sorry. Next scene. The Hicks arrive at the Dyck farm. Noah is thrilled that they came.
I must confess, my first batch of sausages did not turn out to the usual Dyck standards. Shameful, but I blew a load right here in the yard. Luckily, my daughters were here to clean it up and even eat what could be salvaged. What a treat it was to watch my own children enjoy my load, despite its premature completion. Even the dog wandered over and began to suck up the excess.
Good enough.
Yeah, I know, right?
Derry puts a stop to Noah Dyck's stream of conscience. I wrote down myself. Noah Dyck prays to God that his next batch will remain firmly in his hands. Noah then begins to inhale deeply and very creepily, then states that the air is thick with the sweet scent of Dyck meat.
Come, let us gather by the fire and devour endless sausages with our mouths together as men.
I don't care how gross you makes it sound. Leads me to that meat.
Time will soon tell, Daniel. By the looks of the sun, why, it's almost afternoon.
It's evening.
Trust. The sausages will remove all thoughts of women.
I care how gross he makes it sound.
Next scene. Reilly and Jonesy are at the Skid's lair playing chell. They lose the game and proceed to lose their shit, throwing a tantrum, swearing, and punching holes in the walls.
That is some Ross the
Have you ever
Boss
seen
great
such
shit.
primitive emotion? Primal. I think it's called toxic masculinity. Ooh, then they fucking gack me up with it. Gack all over me with it.
This isn't fair, buddy. You had home ice advantage, bro. You're taking the tow station back to our film month, and you can play us there. On our home ice this time. Let's go, Reilly. Let's go, Jonesy.
Did they just invite us over? I'm glad they had fun.
Reilly and Jonesy storm off with the Skid's chell station. I love that they say chell station instead of PlayStation. Next scene, back at the Dyck farm, Noah asks the Hicks to join hands and pray to thank the Lord for this meat up. The Hicks play along, but then it's down to business.
Pork? The aroma doth make the mouth water.
No, no, it really does. That reminds me of the Kinsman barbecue from last year.
Yeah, you got MVG.
Yeah.
Most valuable griller.
I'm going to put on a t-shirt for me. That's pretty neat.
Wayne, for mercy's sake, at least give me a chance to beat your meat.
Okay.
Oh my God.
You're just catching all these now, aren't you?
I missed that one before.
God, the innuendo pool is so deep, and I love it.
Noah asks for some help serving. Squirrely Dan says it would be a pleasure. Noah shows off a smoker that his wife Anita constructed for them. He asks Squirrely Dan if he'll do the honors of parting his wife's meat curtains.
That's hot.
After a long comedic beat, Squirrely Dan complies. Next scene, in Reilly and Jonesy's bedroom. Reilly, is it their? It's one of their bed. They don't sleep together, do they? I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, they sleep together.
Yeah,
Man. They cuddle.
They're now punching holes in their own walls after suffering yet another loss to the Skids. Reilly accuses the Skids of tricking the cards. Earl gathers that what he meant to say was they stacked the deck. Reilly takes that as an admission of guilt. Jonesy accuses the Skids of downloading some funky dark web shit onto their system, and that's why they dummied them, speedbagged them, and fucking ragdolled them. Where's my... Oh, there we go.
How dare you, Sturt? How dare you accuse us of using the dark web to gain the gaming competitive edge? That is a one-way ticket to chell hell. I'm chelling you.
Have you guys been drinking cello shooters?
How dare you?
Because you're acting like a bunch of children.
How dare you?
One bombshell after another in this rumpus round.
Let me give it to you in a nutshell. We are through walking on eggshells with the two of you. Perhaps you pick up some beta blockers at this supplement store.
Yeah, take a chill pill.
Yeah. Just don't forget where it is. Just walk halfway across the bridge, over top of the dam, and jump off. Let's go, Rolled.
Yeah, let's go, Rolled.
The skids storm off with Reilly and Jonesy's chell station, leaving Reilly and Jonesy punching more holes in their walls. Next scene.
Station from Choney.
Yep. Yeah. Next scene. Meanwhile, back at the Dyck farm, Noah is serving up his sausages with a side of German and some bad sausage puns.
First, let's start with the verst.
Oh, I got the thirst for worst. I've been known to show a kielbasa who's basa.
Charcuterie style, metwurst. Soft, moist, melts in the mouth once.
Well, don't have to tell me twice.
Was für ein Spach.
Next up is bratwurst.
Und zweitens, bratwurst. Coarse, juicy, made from pork.
Pork, you say? Excuse me's for picking outs.
And then followed by knockwurst.
Nach this, knockwurst. Pork and garlic, often highly seasoned.
Well, never so bad. It couldn't be worse.
And finally, Noah serves up weisswurst, followed by what sounds like some gibberish German.
Hey, Noah, which sausage makes the funniest sounds?
Why, I don't know, Daniel.
Frankfurters.
Oh, well, this one looks like a Frank squirter.
That last singer sends Noah into hysterics, literally rolling on the ground with laughter. He laughs so hard, he begins to fart. Scene 8. The skids are outside the convenience store once again dancing when Reilly and Jonesy approach. They're looking less ragey. They give back the skids' chell station that they took earlier. Rold gives back Reilly and Jonesy's chell station that they had taken. But that's not the only reason they're there.
Anyway, you were right to chell us off earlier.
Oh? Yeah, we deserved it, boys. Guess we thought we were better at that game than we actually are.
You are no Alexander Graham Chell.
Do you know who that is?
I don't know who that is.
We don't know who that is, but I don't know. We just wanted to say something like, sorry.
Yeah, like we regret it.
Why? You gotta be able to take the losses with the wins, boys.
It doesn't matter if it's Chell or the National League, boys. Playoff mentality. Don't get too high, don't get too low.
Too high. Gotta approach life with a playoff mentality, boys. So,
later.
Reilly and Jonesy start to walk away sadly. Stewart stops them and asks them where they're headed. Reilly and Jonesy said they're going to check out the new supplement store. The skids regret their joke, and in an act of kindness, Stewart extends an olive branch.
You guys ever play Thief? You ever thief it?
yeah, I've sampled the beef brisket.
Thiefing it real?
Commander and feet.
Two things we do not joke around about. Schneef and thief. Let's say we turn over a new thief. Shotty Brazil.
We can check out that supplement store another time, buddy.
Supplement store's going nowhere, bro. Ninja dust.
Reilly and Jonesy head off in separate directions, as they usually do, leaving the skids standing there confused. Then Stewart and Roll pretend to drop ninja dust, and that sends Connor and Darian off in separate directions. Final scene, back at the Dyck farm. Noah is still rolling on the ground, laughing and farting. The Hicks are enjoying their delicious sausages. Darius says the key to the day was the daughters were away. Square Dan wouldn't mind seeing Noah's sister, though. Noah finally collects himself and gets up. He's not sure he's had his funny bone jerked quite that hard before. Speaking of daughters and sisters, Noah invites the Hicks to come inside. Derry asks why. Noah informs him that that's where the dick suckers are. Derry doesn't want to go, so Noah calls them out to join them. Out come Anita, Chastity, and Lavina Dick with maple syrup suckers for the Hicks. Chastity's holding a milk bottle. Anita offers the Hicks some dick milk. They quickly, yet politely, turn it down.
No, thank you.
Well, don't be shy. We have an awful lot of it. In fact, enough to make a long, hot summer of dick cheese.
Oh, I do love your dick cheese.
And we fade to black.
Oh God. That episode just gets better and better.
Yeah, I guess it does. All right, I'm up first. Let's talk about this episode. So, I agree. The cold open was one for the ages. One of the top 5, possibly. I can't remember now. I mean, but it's up there. It was really good. I really enjoyed Squirrely Dan and Derry in this, and whether there's a deeper meaning to it or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect it. It was still a great cold open. The rest of this episode was this episode suffers from being compared to 2 other great Dyck episodes. And so I think that's where this episode kind of suffers. It's nowhere near as funny as the first 2. It's still funny. It's what you would expect from a Dyck episode, all the penis innuendo. I feel like they way underused Anita Dyck. Like, she comes out for like the very last scene and I think maybe only has 1 or 2 lines, and that's it, which, I mean, she was the best part of the last Dyck episode. So it's too bad that they couldn't use her more. It just kind of left me, I'm going to say this, flaccid. It was just fine. There wasn't anything great about it. There wasn't anything horrible about it. I liked the Reilly and Jonesy versus Skid storyline. That was okay. The Noah Dyck stuff was just okay. It was kind of the same joke over and over and over again. And after a while, I got a little tired. But yeah, that's my initial impression of this episode. I did really enjoy. Another thing I enjoyed was the kind of, they've done this before where they do kind of like an Abbott and Costello routine. This one here was in the very first scene at the produce stand when Noah Dyck starts on his speech of to Wayne saying your people have done us right once, blah blah blah, and then they go back to once, no, twice, like you've said that before, and so on, back and forth. That was really funny and kind of very kind of Abbott and Costello like. I kind of enjoyed that scene. The rest of it was good but not great. Tanya, what do you think?
You know what? Whenever there's sausage, it's going to be a good time. Like, Noah Dyck, I gotta ask, like, is the anchoring the horse a real thing? And I'm thinking Joshua.
I was thinking the same damn
That's
thing.
what I was wondering.
Yeah, I think
Like,
Joshua
why?
is our best person to ask for that type of
Brian's
information.
from Pennsylvania too, but he's in the city. He's not in rural Pennsylvania.
One thing, just to give you guys an idea of what Pennsylvania's like. On the west end of Pennsylvania, you got Pittsburgh. On the east end, you got Philly. Everything else, Alabama and or Kentucky. So I'm a city
endless
boy.
country. I've been to all that section. It's endless country.
Yeah.
There are banjos. There are Confederate flags.
Oh,
it's frightening.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they're also the Dutch, right? And that's
And the Dutch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking that the whole anchor thing, it's not really going to stop that horse. I just wanted to know, like,
No, if that horse wants to go, that little thing ain't gonna stop.
Yeah, that anchor just becomes a projectile, becomes like something that would just hit people, like as a horse went flying.
My best guess with that is that as the anchor probably works is more of a deterrent. So it's like, this is annoying, it's heavy, so I'm just going to stay here than try to fight this thing.
It's gonna hit him in his horse dick meat.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's what. I thought that was comical. I've never seen one before, and I didn't know if it was an actual thing or not. Like Squirrely Dan, oh my gosh, that man just is so funny. Like him with Noah Dyck and saying, he doesn't care how gross you make it, just point me in the direction of the meat. I'm totally there because I love a sausage. I love pigs and blankets. Like any sausage you can get with some mustard too. Oh my God, yes, I would be there in a heartbeat. I'd be like, what kind of mustards can I bring to this party? Like I'd absolutely, and the smell of the Dyck meat in the air, like I can just imagine it right now. Noah Dyck,
fermenting.
Like they take it just that little bit further than where you think they're ever going to go. Him saying how his first batch, the girls had to eat it up and it was premature and like it just goes so far and you're like, oh man, that's wrong on so many levels, but it ends up turning out to be so funny. Him falling down, it reminded me of Peppa Pig. when
Yes.
Noah Dyck fell, because they were referencing pigs.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, out of nowhere, he's on the ground laughing. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Peppa Pig. He's fallen on the ground and he's laughing. And that's where he stayed. And I thought that was comical. The whole meat curtains, like I remember those curtains on my parents, on the house that I grew up in, and the fireplace, and pulling back the curtains. And I'm like, oh my God, those were the curtains we had.
But those weren't meat curtains.
Those are the meat curtains. Oh my God, it's too funny. Anyways, I found the whole thing. It was kind of quick paced. Like it ping pong back and forth between the Sausage Party and Reilly and Jonesy with Stewart and Rolled.
There wasn't a whole lot of substance there. It was,
there was nothing else going on. It was just the two storylines, which I think what happened in the last episode, it was just two storylines. It wasn't much of anything else to track or go back to. So it was a good episode. It made me laugh. Things that I missed that I didn't get the first round that I caught on here. Oh my God. Sorry for the outburst. And the last comment there. Oh my God. I didn't get that that they had said for the Dyck cheese, and so wrong. They just take it that little step further. It's just
Yeah, Matt, what do you think?
So it's funny. I'm almost 100% aligned with you, Al, on this one. Most of what you said, I actually had written down, and I'll add a little bit more to it. So yes. This is they fell victim on this one of going up against themselves in the fact that they had two other fantastic episodes and Dyck slipped out and Holy Sheet. Holy Sheet, I think, is on my top 5.
I think it's Victor's number 1.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, right? So you had that against you already. And I don't mean this as negative as it's going to sound, but to me, it became kind of like a fart book in the fact that I got over the joke. And now I'm like, okay, I get it. So yes, I laughed. There's some big laughs in here, some really, really brilliant stuff. But it was, sorry, 1 second. Thank you.
We're on the air. You need a red on the air light.
Well, why don't you have like the claw arm to grab stuff? Man? Come on.
My bad.
Oh, good.
So I agree with all that. The caveat I'll say to that, and where I think that they were just as aware that they were over the top and maybe the joke's gone wrong, is the fact that like when Noah first arrived at the produce stand, they were finishing his lines, right? Yeah. They were like, okay, we get it, Noah. They're over it. The whole time they kept making subtle jabs at everything Noah was doing. Like if you think back to like the very first one, they were kind of like, oh, and just kind of surprised. The second one, they're like, all right, ha, 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 ha. Now they're like, okay, we get it. We get it. Enough's enough, Noah. So a part of me, and I haven't seen the rest of the season yet because I am following, part of me says maybe this is the last time we see the Dycks because even they are, okay, it's run its course.
Right.
We have to put it. So there's kind of their little last nod because everyone wanted the Dycks, but we're also saying goodbye. I could be wrong, but that's kind of what I feel. So I appreciated that they were treating it in that aspect, that even they we get it and we're done. The jokes run its course, so they let it go out. But yeah, there were some great things and all that. The little, and I had to look it up too. Like the horse anchor is a thing. I've looked them up. I don't know when they're used or who, but you can look it up. There's all kinds of things of horse anchors online. It's fucking hilarious. The judging the time by the sun. I didn't look that up, but that made me really laugh. It's like, oh, looking at the sun, it's noon. It's 3:00 now. Like he was so off on all of them. It was so good. And then when he dropped to the ground laughing, that made me laugh so hard watching him keel over at that ridiculous joke. So there was definitely some really fun elements. And then you have the Reilly Jonesy timeline with the skids there. I had another thought. It was, when I was watching Reilly and Jonesy, especially near the end there when they were apologizing and they made the Alexander Graham Chell reference, and they're like, I don't know who that is. You know who that is? I don't know who that is. Like, they, to me, come across in this really abstract world of Letterkenny as a couple of the most believable characters in the whole show, in my opinion. They sell their sort of jock life so well that I'm like, I feel like these two, I could walk down the street, run into them, and they are exactly going to talk to me just like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's genuine and how it comes across, even as ridiculous as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that about them. But yeah, that whole timeline was fun. There really wasn't a lot of story, but that's okay. I think we've gotten out of that on continuous storyline aspect. Maybe this was a filler episode. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, overall, there was some really good laughs. I enjoyed the two very defined stories they were telling in this one for what they were. It was enjoyable.
I really enjoyed the progression. So when Roald and Stuart make that joke about the supplement store is over, go to the bridge and jump off. When they first do it, they do it out of like they're making fun of them. But then when Reilly and Jonesy are raging and pissing them off, they're doing it out of anger, but then they feel bad about it. So they take it back. They never admit that it's a lie or that it's a joke, but they take it back. And then out of anger again, they double down on it when in Reilly and Jonesy's bedroom, only to take it back again later. It was an interesting kind of, I don't know, progression throughout the whole thing.
Wilma was my favorite flavor.
That look Roald gives when Reilly says he's more of a Fred guy, he's like, noted. Just that creepy look is great. Is awesome. Bryan, what did you think, Bryan?
Matt really stole my thunder in a lot of ways because I was going to say a lot of the same things. I'm on board with Matt on this. I think this might be the last time we see the Dicks, which is because it was like every time Noah goes to make his jokes, everyone's like, yeah, we know. It's like the water boy all over again. Mm-hmm. Not to mention the fact that he's staring at us like he's breaking the fourth wall when he's telling these jokes. Like, it's old. It's old.
Yeah.
And I DM'd you this earlier. I seriously think they make his pants that tight just so you're curious to see if you can see his dick meat. Like, I'm serious. It's like, bro, there's no other excuse to have pants that tight on another dude unless he's exercising or you're just trying to show off what the stork brought. But and I agree 100%. We didn't see enough of Anita Dick. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing about Sarah Callie is that I hated her on The Walking Dead for a time because
Take it back.
Well, here I didn't hate her as in her performance. Her performance was great. Mm-hmm. I hated Lori because Lori at the time when The Walking Dead first came on TV, I was going through my divorce. It's like, oh, you were my ex-wife. I hate you. And
you bitch.
Yeah. So when she becomes like an entire meal, I'm like, woohoo! But then I see her in this and it's like, someone's going to eat her. And it's like, and then she bleated like a goat. And I just started dying laughing. It's like, she is the greatest ever. Like, I want her to be my neighbor and just bleat first thing in the morning like a freaking rooster. So I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't get more of Anita. I really wish we could have had Glenn with Noah and just have them go back and forth in an innuendo off.
You know what? I'll take another Dick episode if it involves Glenn for sure.
Absolutely.
Matter of fact, right there,
Glenn, Noah, and Gayla.
Oh my gosh, that would just be nuts.
Yeah,
I want
the only
trifecta.
acceptable terms.
Yes, but I mean, otherwise, I mean, the stuff with the Dicks is what you expect, but they still found a way to make it fun, even though the jokes were old. The Reilly Jonesy stuff, I'll say it again, man. When they first start raging out, it's like, how the hell are you going to Ross the Boss Ray somebody's freaking house because you lost a damn game?
They weren't even mad about it either, eh?
They were just, and like the skids are just like, this is really happening? Like,
well, to be fair,
what? To be fair.
The Skids basement, holes in the wall are probably an improvement. Have you seen that basement?
Yeah, that basement does look like it's nothing but hepatitis and bad ideas. But the one thing with Reilly and Jonesy is that when they're cool, they're like so sweet and nice. And it's like, you know what? You guys are dumb, but I would want to hang out with you. And your enemies are now my enemies. Because how can you hate these guys? So, I mean, overall, and I definitely agree with what you guys said. This episode, I think, runs the issue of being the third in the trilogy of Dick.
Yeah.
So, you know, it falls victim of being Return of the Jedi. You know, it's hard to follow. It's hard to follow those previous 2 episodes. It really is.
So what you're saying is 2 dicks are good, but 3 dicks is a crowd?
3 is just too much. Yeah.
That's just way too much. There's only but so many holes for those dicks.
Oh man. Okay. let's move on to ratings, shall we? I'm going to start. Okay. I may have sounded harsh when I gave my initial impression. It's still a fun episode. It's still a funny episode. There's a lot of really good stuff in it. Just compared to the other 2, not as great. So, I mean, my rating for this one is a clearance because it's still a good episode. There's nothing wrong with this episode. It's just not great. And I mean, we just came off 2 pretty strong unicorns. This one here is just a bit of a letdown. So I'm giving this one a clearance. Tanya, what about you?
I still have 2 more comments from listening to everybody else. Reilly and Jonesy, I just wanted to say, like, I want to take care of them still. Like I still feel like a mama bear with them. And I'm like, you back away from those boys. They are just sweet, innocent, not so, but they're just gullible and they'll just take anything.
They apologized. They owned up. You know, that was a good, sincere apology. I mean, yes, their initial actions were
that was dickish.
Yeah, were dickish.
Very childish.
And childish, but in the end they did the right thing by apologizing. So maybe their moms did raise them right.
They just
see, I think with Reilly though, it lets you know how great of an actor he is. I hated him in the Mighty Ducks Game Changers. He's such a dick, but in this he's so lovable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of want to be like Reilly Jonesy. Is that a good way to express your frustration? And it is just a game. Like I seriously want a big brother. Spleen.
I wonder if, after they punched holes in their bedroom, their moms didn't calm down, give them a glass of milk and say, okay, kids, why are you upset? Why is that important? Go
if you want your hot
apologize.
Pocket, young man.
Yeah.
Hot pocket. My other question or comment was Noah Dick. Do you okay. He has no access to media, no access to television or any outside interference.
What the fuck can he run?
So you kind of have to wonder, does he know what he's saying? Like sex is sex, but they're doing it through a sheet. So really, like how much does he think is an innuendo? Like he knows what a dick is, of course. But the fact that it's his name, do you think that he no. It's just one of those things.
No, it's the joke, right?
It's innocent fun.
Like we had a friend.
But there was a slight nod to that.
Yeah.
Wayne or one of them made a very subtle referse to it that I just don't think he gets it. And they don't just kind of back off.
I think in the first Dick episode, he says Dick and he said, but with a Y. It's not whatever he says. He tries to right away subvert all the innuendo that's about to happen by saying, but it's Dick with a Y. So everything I say from now on is okay. It's not. Yeah. It's not.
So you think he knows?
It's not the other one.
No.
Okay, we had a friend and she was quite innocent with her thoughts.
Oh, she was so stupid.
Innocent.
She was so stupid.
Innocent.
Right.
With her thoughts.
She was a very smart girl. So stupid.
But she was innocent. So she didn't always have a full understanding of what was going on.
She was book smart, not street smart. She was street stupid. She was, Wow.
So you kind of have to wonder though, is Noah like that? Like if you were around him, would you constantly be like dude doesn't give a
Well, they're constantly looking at him shaking their heads. So he's either oblivious to everyone's reaction to him, or this is just a 2-dimensional character that's meant to make us laugh with dick jokes.
And that was it. Wayne made a comment about Derry being rude, right? Because he's And like it's like don't comment, don't judge, don't be rude.
Yeah.
But the banter back and forth about the sausage and the names of the sausage, and he was kind of getting some of those.
Yeah, he's getting all those double on.
So you kind of gotta wonder.
But look at the joke that set him off. It was about farts, and we like.
So it's almost
that
like
was the one.
a 6-year-old's understanding of these jokes.
That brought him down to where his level was because he went off the rockers at that point.
Yeah,
on,
at this point,
probably
he's
the worst
just
joke. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So was there a rating in there?
Yeah. Sorry. for that, because I think he just like Reilly and Jonesy are innocent, and I think Noah is innocent in he just doesn't get what he's saying. And I think that's what makes this episode fun. It's very cute. I'm gonna give it a fresh. It made me laugh. It wasn't a great, like it wasn't something that I would put on my list or anything like that, which I know I'm jumping the gun.
Yeah, there you go.
But a low fresh.
Okay.
It was good. There was nothing that offended me. It kept it cute and fun.
Sounds good. Work on your MVP now, Matt. What do you give this?
Yeah, I'll get it. It's a high clearance. I'm with you. I back to what I said. It's against the others, and that's I can't get that out of my head. Did it stand the ground of those? I don't think it did. There were some great moments. I definitely laughed my ass off through the whole thing. But I was watching this one. Jen's been watching all the new episodes with me, and even she made a comment like, "I feel like that they're just recycling this joke," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're not wrong," and that's kind of the sentiment there. I want to quickly loop back to I think a couple of you called this out. I know Bryan went into a bit as well. We needed more Anita. I think she could have saved it if they found more to bring her in because. Yes, Noah is the front man of this, but she is the rock star that had some of the best moments in the previous episodes. And to bring her in just at the end there felt like a real missed opportunity because one of the greatest things about the Dicks is their play off each other and their different perspectives on what's going on. So it felt very one-dimensional with just Noah and yeah, I think that was a missed opportunity. So it's again, I really enjoyed it. Sure. It's not by any means bad. It's a high clearance.
Yeah, fair enough. Bryan?
This episode, like I said, when I first watched it, I was like, this is so boring. Like this isn't funny at all. And then I watched it a second time and I was like, and then I watched it a third time. I'm like, and then going over it again, I'm laughing. So but it's the weakest of the Dick trilogy. And I think a lot of it is because we don't have enough of Anita in it. Squirrely Dan and Derry, they shine in this one a bit, but you got to have all Dicks front and center, man. You got to have that. The Reilly and Jonesy and the Skids storyline in this one. I really like the fact that we got to see these two groups together because it's primarily them with the Hicks. So it's cool to see them together doing this and seeing how they play off each other and the two funniest duos on this entire show with Reilly and Jonesy and Stewart and Rold. I think the only way that I think next I'd like to see maybe Stewart and Rold do a tag team against the McMurrays. I almost call them McMurphys. But no, it was great to see them together and to sort of see the Skids sort of being the ones getting the one up on someone for a change, even though it's the lowest of low hanging fruit. But with that being said, though, this is the fact that it did get me to like go from to laugh. I'm going to give it a very low fresh. Like it's just barely not clearance, just barely. Like it's like in a day, it's getting that sticker and it's going into the clearance bin.
At the end of the day, it's still,
at the end of the day,
it's turning.
It's like an hour. It's like one shift away from going to the clearance bin.
All right, a low fresh, excellent. All right, let's move on to top 5. This does not make my top 5. It's obvious, I think, and well, I mean, we'll get all Victor's stuff next episode. Tanya, does this make your top 5?
No.
Matt?
Or no.
Nope. Okay, Bryan, I hear you might have a top 5 list to share with us.
I of course have a top 5 list for you. Hard right J, soft right really.
Another one, eh?
I really, because you know what,
him in there.
Dude, Jay Baruchel just like he makes me laugh so hard.
Yeah,
and I just rewatched Goon for the first time in about 2 years, and it just reminded me why I love that episode so much, and it was just so much fun. Then Dick slip out. Then definitely got to go throw in there, and then give me that nut white boy nut. Love that episode so much. And then, of course, I got to throw Bush Party season in there because that's the episode that brought me into Letterkenny. So that rounds out my top 5.
Nice.
No,
were you counting down or up? Well, which is your number one? Hard right?
I think that I just wrote I didn't put those in any real
don't
order.
worry about that. Yeah.
So, because I love them all for a very specific reason that it makes it real difficult to choose between them.
Okay. Fair enough. Oh, fair. Yeah.
So, but no, this one, it doesn't make my top 5 just because, like I said, it took 3 watches for it to finally get me to start laughing out loud.
Very good. Good point. All right. So, see the future. First of all, Bryan, have you watched
We're doing MVP?
MVP. No, you're right. MVP. Sorry. My bad. MVP. So, thinking about this one here, MVP. If I don't want to give it to a pair, if I was to give it to a pair, it'd be both Squirrely Dan and Derry. But I really want to stick to just giving it to one person. So I'm actually, and I don't think I've ever given it to Derry before. I'm giving it to Derry for this one. I thought he was really strong in this, especially in the cold open, but even throughout his reactions to Noah Dick. Are always a lot of fun, and the fact that he's the one who finally said, "Okay, enough." Like when Noah Dick was talking about blowing his load, or what was it? The dog was
making his daughters eat his load.
Yeah, and all that stuff, and it was Derry who put an end to that nonsense. Just great, but especially at the beginning when he's like so upset because you know very well that I'll eat food off the floor. He was so indignant about something that you shouldn't be indignant about. Was great. So I'd give Squirrely Dan a runner up, but I'll give this one to Derry. Tanya, what about you?
My boy Squirrely Dan, for sure. He makes me laugh every time he goes off.
It was on accident.
He went off so many times this episode, and all of his comments that he made, they always make me laugh. Yeah.
All right, Matt.
I'm torn, but I'm gonna go with you on this one, Al. It's Derry with Dan being the really close runner up. They're both of them just brought it this episode. Yeah. The on accidents, the banter about the eating off the ground thing killed me. Dan's little like when they first got there, it's like I don't know how you said that, but I'm in and like what like and then Derry's like opposite like they were on fire in this one. So it has to go there. And I want to give a really quick honorable mention. When I were watching it, Jen, wifey there, her, she called out rolled. She said especially the second scene when they're in Reilly or Jonesy's bedroom there and that little banter there. She's like, that was probably one of my favorite rolled displays in the whole series is his banter in that one.
So that's saying something because he has so many great moments.
And she loved him in that scene. She's like, that was one of my favorite rolled moments. So I'll call that one out for her.
All right. And Bryan?
Yeah, it's going to be a sausage party as far as the MVP goes. Definitely Derry. I think Derry has had some great moments, but this is the Derry moment. This is the Derry arrives episode for sure. Because the thing is, Derry, let's just be real. Of our 4 leads, which is the Hicks, Derry is the weakest character in a lot of ways. And I think it's somewhat designed because you got Wayne, who's the leader, Squirrely Dan, who's the guy that number one, he looks way too old to be hanging out with them. But there's just something about his lovable nature that works. And Katie is just fun.
Is a force. Yeah. Katie's just a force.
Yeah, she's a force of nature. And then there's this dirty looking dude. Who's always wearing his barn clothes and needs to take a shower.
And he's at times he's quirky and sweet, and times he's kind of dumb and but he's always loyal. But yeah, you're right. He's not the weakest character.
Maybe not weakest.
Maybe the most vanilla character. Like
And I think the biggest thing of what we've already said is a lot of times, Bryan, you said he has some really good moments, right?
Yes.
Which is what he's consistent for. He has good, strong moments. But this episode, there was a multitude of them.
He carries.
It was every scene he was in, he delivered something that made that scene memorable, which he doesn't always do. So he was given a lot more content to really run with, and he was louder and he was there. And
well, he also took a leadership role, because if you notice, even in the cold open, like Wayne usually takes way more leadership roles and everything, because that's what he does. But this time around, it's Derry taking on a leadership role. And it's almost like he's doing it and Wayne is like supervising him. Like, honestly, if this episode is a backpack, Derry's taking it to school. And honorable mention to Stewart and Rold, though, because this is some of the best banter, and they've had some amazing banter, but this is some of their best. Because, and it goes to show that as over the top as they can be, they can do subtle very well. So it was, for as much as this episode didn't have, and we talk, and this is a running theme that has been coming on with the show lately. I've noticed we're not getting enough Gail, we're not getting enough Glenn. Derry, in a lot of ways, did not make me miss them because he brought it this time.
See, not to go against the sausage fest here, but I just want to say, like, Derry had far a bigger role in the second Dick episode, where he was like, you know what, they're like, they kept on going back to Derry about the whole sauce, about the hole in the sheet, and him like, oh, you know what that's about, and that I found was more.
He might have been MVP in that episode if it weren't for Anita, though. Like, Anita just stole that.
Anita
stronger characters,
but that was a stronger storyline with Derry and the Dicks, because it just kept on pinging back to him, and him saying, you know, and giving the eye and the gesture and the, oh my, what's going on here? And you guys,
you're not wrong.
There was so much more.
Correct.
Yeah.
But in that episode, Anita was still the stronger.
I didn't see that happening.
Right. But
not,
so in that,
not to the extent of the,
in that
second
previous episode, he was probably stronger, but Anita was the strongest. In this episode, there wasn't anyone who stood out. So he was the stronger one out of all.
See, I would have probably liked a little bit more of a close up to his face, maybe a gesture of his face of like, you know, here we go, like what's going on, like what's happening, what's with the sausage, or as you said, he did kind of chime in a little bit there, here and there.
He's a lot more vocal in this one,
very vocal, and I understand your point, Tanya. I really do, and I think that just goes to show how strong the performance was this time around, because we didn't get some of those things that probably would have made it even harder. Better. But he took what he had and he made it work. And I was almost thinking maybe some of the writing on this for this episode and some certain points of this season might be sort of suffering because of the Shoresy. But
I don't know. As far as I know, Jonathan Torrens writes all the Dick episodes. I think he wrote this one and the other two. So, but also, I mean, Kiso had a lot of time to write these scripts, right?
Kiso, nothing's going to go to film without Kiso say so. So
I want to quickly, and again, I don't necessarily think the episode suffered on the writing side, because I still stand by the fact that I think it was highly intentional to almost make us dislike the content because of all the continuous shout outs from the Hicks on, okay, enough's enough.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
Like that was very
the Hicks are us this time around.
Yeah.
Where it's
if they made no comments about it, we would have been saying, okay, this was not good.
This is a compost.
It was there. So I think it was intentional, and I'm okay with it. Wasn't my favorite Dick episode, but I'm still appreciate that I feel that was very intentional.
All right, I got to move on here because we're approaching 11:30.
Yeah, we're already getting people saying, how long is this episode going to last? And I said, forever.
Oh yeah, so let's move on now. In terms of see the future, I mean, I feel like they've abandoned all kind of seasonal story arcs so far. Like we haven't really seen anything there in the last two episodes, and I don't see anything in this one that's changed any of that. Has anyone here seen anything? I mean, other than saying the usual, we want more Glenn, we want more Gail. There isn't.
I have watched ahead just because.
Okay, well then you're not allowed to comment.
So I'm not allowed to comment. And honestly, like I do a film review podcast for a living, so I know how not to spoil. But I will say this: I do appreciate the finale.
Okay,
I think it's this season. Upon further review, this season is an interesting transition from what we've seen before.
Okay.
Because I'm very curious to see if season 11 suffers because of, what I like to call the spinoff syndrome.
Oh, right, with the Shorzy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that in future episodes. But is it? I'm going to say there's nothing in this one here that indicates anything for the future for future storylines for me. So I have no comment there. But Tanya, is there anything you want to see?
The only thing was Squirrely Dan, so eager to see Lavina. Like
he goes back and forth between Lavina and Ellen.
He was just in the bar with Ellen with Wayne and Rosie.
Maybe he misses the walking.
I don't know. It was interesting that he was so eager to catch her.
Matt, anything?
Yeah, I got absolutely nothing.
No.
I'm enjoying this 10 and the fact that it feels like one and that I really have no idea what's coming each episode.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that format. And I can't wait to see what's coming next.
All right, let's move on to Tanya's Twitter poll from last week. Whose Caesar did you find more appealing? 115 votes. The winner there by very narrow margin, 35.7% of people chose Stuart and rolled Caesar, which Victor and I agree with. Bonnie, Rosie, and Gales came in second with 33%. Then Katie, Dan, and Darius with 20.9%, and Reilly and Jonesy's was a distant fourth with 10.4%. So there you go. I know, Matt, that you probably didn't vote on this one, but
I did not actually. Yeah, I saw it and I just bypassed it.
Yeah, you don't like Caesar, so I get it. And then we have a bunch of listener comments here. So one of our newer listeners, Ban from Scotland, and one of our newest Twitter DM members, he says, "Hey guys, followed the page a little while back, but only got around to listening the other day. I've just started episode 5, The Rave, and I'm loving listening so far. I don't know anyone who even knows what Letterkenny really is, so it's great to hear so much discussion about the best show ever. Keep it up, Ferda, thumbs up." And that's from Ban, and I'm so jealous that he's only on episode 5 of season 1 and he gets to live this. And although I think
he's watched up to 9.
Oh, right. He's watched up to 9, but he's episode 5 of our podcast. That's right. So, anyway, so he's
gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
okay. Another one here. I like the callbacks to a previous cold open when talking about the car dealer. Oh, so this is about last week's episode. The computer background. That's no Family Man thing. Standing up, etc. I'm surprised it didn't come up. Fun episode of the show and the podcast. Good job, all. That's from James Corky. I think he's talking about that cold open where the Hick men are at the bar talking about cars with Gail, and they start mentioning dealers and stuff. So that's probably that callback. Let's see here. Our buddy PJ McCarthy. So glad you guys went back and hyped Dick Skin's scenes. He was brilliant. Skid's Caesar was the clear cut winner. As much as I love Rosie, something about Marie Fred, she really does it for me. And that's from PJ McCarthy. So he's definitely on the Marie Fred team when it comes to that, and also the Skid Caesar was Skid Caesar. That's funny. Anyway, another one here from Flower Boy, another new listener. Hey, found the pod a few weeks ago and I'm absolutely loving it. I'm nowhere near caught up yet and was wondering if y'all are still doing the DM group, which we are, and I added him to our group, so he's one of our newest members as well. And then finally, just found Letterkenny and then your podcast. So good. As being in London, I didn't know why the hell they're talking about darts or what they're talking about. Darts or cigarettes? Only just got to season 2. I hope Victor cheers up, pitter patter. So that's a listener from London, I think. She said. So yeah, great traction here. And then just in the news, and it just happened today, and I'm a little upset, but at the same time, I understand the Letterkenny Live and the Canadian shows anyway have been canceled. And they haven't been able to reschedule them because, they can't. They have no idea when they'll be able to happen. Some of the U.S. dates have been moved, have been rescheduled. So none of the U.S. dates have been canceled. Some of them have been rescheduled. So check out their website for details if you do have tickets for any of those U.S. shows to find out whether your show's been moved. And I believe that's all I've got for this, for news and for user comments. So we'll just move on to final comments. And I'm going to say, Bryan, I was looking forward all week to having you on, bud. I knew you were going to bring it, and you did. Love the Plotaholics and looking forward to listening to more of that. Thank you for coming on. You did a great job. And hopefully we'll have you back on again. Obviously, we hope to see you at Ag Hall Socials, and you're on the Twitter DM group. You're a great contributor there. So thank you so much, and great job tonight.
Thank you.
Bryan, absolutely exactly what Alan said. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Pleasure to see you again. We had I caught you quickly, I think, on one of the chats before.
It's always show up late.
Yeah, I'm always headed to bed right away. So yeah, I think it was a quick meet, but pleasure to speak to you and hear your comments, and love the chat. Thank you so much to everyone, and thoughts going out again to Victor. Hope everything's okay, and can't wait to do it all again next week.
Matt.
Yeah, I mean, everything you guys said, I'll give a quick shout out to Victor and his family and his dad. I hope everything's well there. We definitely miss you tonight. But Bryan, I was really looking forward to you coming out too. I know we've had some banter offline, and I've definitely listened to Plotaholics. You're running a great show over there. I'm a movie nut, so it's fun to pick and choose some of my listens there, and you guys bring a really good perspective to it. Also, massive congratulations on your fitness journey, man. That is just unfucking believable. Congratulations. I know you've worked your ass off to get where you are, and I can only imagine it's like a life-changing for you. So well done, sir. It's wildly inspiring. Anyone listening, check him out. See what he's done. It's amazing. So good on you, bud. And thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And Bryan.
Oh man, this was truly, I've been looking forward to this for a while. I almost jumped the gun. I was like, so when am I coming on? This was last week. I was like, next week. I'm like, oh, but I love this show. And what I really, really enjoy is, just picking up on you guys like just a couple of months ago to now being involved in this community, and now being here and talking the amazing Canadian show of Letterkenny with you. It really means a lot. And thank you for the kudos. I really, really appreciate it. And you humble me so much. The pleasure is all on this side. And I can't wait to be on again. Can't wait to continue having discussions and see where the future brings, because you never know. There's only good things coming.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right. Now I'm going to play us off here with a song from this episode called Flying Golem by a band called Wand. This is the song that ended the episode. So let's pull this one up here. That's all we have for this episode. Next week, we recap and review episode 4 of season 10, Prostate. Tanya's been looking forward to that one. With our buddy Ryan for his first Produce Stand debut. Don't forget to give our sponsor Diabolical Coffee some love. They're at diabolicalcoffee.com. Right now, you can use a promo code ProduceStand for 10% off any purchase from their site. If you'd like to support the podcast, rate us on iTunes, Spotify, or become a patron. There's a Patreon link on our site or Twitter profile at ProduceStandPod. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at ProduceStandPod. Thank you for joining us. Now we are going to play some Chell, followed by some FIFA. On behalf of Bryan, Victor, Matt, Tanya, and myself, thank you for listening, and have a great week.